Hello guys, welcome to Open Techno. Today on the channel we have the WANBO 10.5 Professional, this projector that I have right to my left. A projector that for about 280 euros is going to offer us all kinds of professional features. And the thing is, the topic of projectors has been changing for a few years now. Before, they were products that practically no one could afford, because they were much more expensive than a television, when in the end they could even have some limitations. However, all of this has changed. Now we have projectors for a very low price that even surpass televisions. They allow us to project a screen, for example, as with this WANBO 10.5 Pro up to 140 inches. And even then, they have a brightness which allows us to project even if we are not in a completely dark room, but they have quite a few nits. And this projector meets all those specifications. So in this video, we are going to look at it in depth. I'm going to explain some of the most notable features they have. And then we're going to look at some of the things we can do with this projector and the operating system it comes with. So let's start with its aesthetic section, a truly minimalist aesthetic section. It comes with a piano black on the front that shouldn't scratch, because the truth is, we should put very few things on the front of this projector, and the rest is going to be built in a very soft plastic. We don't have any buttons or anything at all, just an air grill on the left side, and on the back we have the connectors. Then, on the front we have this detail in gold as well as the lens. Its dimensions would be around 25 centimeters on each side if we look at it from the top, and then we would have 11 centimeters high if we look at it from the front. The weight is 2.7 kilograms. But it is true that it is not a projector meant to be transported very often, but it is already made, so that we leave it fixed in a place where we are going to frequently view content. I should add that I found it very interesting that it comes with this little stand, which, well, I will show you in a shot a little closer later, but basically it is a white stand that will allow us to move the device, the projector in this case, when we have it on a table. So that, for example, we can project at a greater or lesser angle, or even easily rotate it on itself. I think it's really a nice touch that it includes this type of stand, because it's going to be much more comfortable. That we can place it on the living room table to project on the wall, at the angle we want. Let's talk about the projection. We have an LED lamp that really gives very good results. I'll talk to you a little more about it later, when we're watching some content. And it will allow us to project at distances from 1.1 meters, that is 1 meter and 10 centimeters, up to 3.9 meters, almost 4 meters. That's how we keep moving. In this range, we will get a screen or a projection between 40 and 140 inches. What happens if we don't get out of this range? Well, the automatic focus that this lamp has will not work, and therefore we will not see the content clearly. The bulb inside is designed to last over 20,000 hours. The WANBO brand guarantees a 20,000 hour lifespan, which I think is industry standard. It's more or less in the market average, but we can even expect it to work for a longer time. After all, this is still a bulb that after a certain number of hours of use, it can break down. I've already told you that one good thing about this projector is that it completely self-adjusts, all by itself. This means that we can place it at any distance we want from the wall within the range that I've mentioned to you. And it will autofocus, so that we can see the image as clearly as possible. It also corrects distortions. For instance, if it's resting low and focused upwards, it would appear as a trapezoid. Well, it will auto-adjust that automatically, so that the image we see is the typical 16:9 format that we are so used to seeing in YouTube videos, movies, and so on. We have the possibility to zoom between 50 and 100%. So if, for example, we put it at 3.9 meters, but we want it not to be seen in 140 inches, but to be seen in 70 inches. Can we reduce the zoom to see it smaller? The bulb is going to produce a brightness of 1100 lumens. I told you before that it is a bulb that can work even when we are in slightly bright areas. It is true that, of course, if I am here in the room with the 4 bulbs I have on the ceiling, we are going to see what it projects, but we are not going to see it with full range of detail. But it is true that, for example, in a room where we have lighting, we can leave some windows open. And what if we have residual light, for example, from an afternoon or something like that, which is no longer giving intense light? We'll see the content perfectly. I'll give you some situations so you can get an idea that you don't need to be completely in the dark for this projector to look good. It is true that it is good to have a dedicated screen, a canvas or fabric that is completely white, smooth and made for projections. Because I don't have one, I have to use my wall, which has a textured finish. And it's not even white, it's slightly grayish, which distorts my vision a little bit. It's perfect for watching movies at night. How's the quality? Well, the quality we have in this bulb is 1080p. A lifelong full high definition that looks very good, it looks quite defined. Also, I being nearsighted, as soon as I move away a bit, I stop distinguishing so much definition. But it is true that it will admit that we put content in up to 4K. This means that we can put our computer with a 4000 resolution, a 4000 YouTube video, but then it converts to full high definition. Of course, we can adjust it, as I told you, on a table, but we can also hang it from a ceiling, or we can put it a little bit on the side because it's going to auto-adjust and it's going to be able to rotate the image. So the possibilities for placing this WANBO 10.5 Pro are endless. Now all that's left for me to talk about is the audio. The audio has two 5-watt speakers that have surprised me because they sound pretty good. The speakers don't sound tinny, but forceful. Well done to WANBO for making very good speakers for this projector. I think they are worth the price. And then to say that the fan we have to cool all the sound is quite contained and is below 26 decibels. You can hear it, but we won't have to turn up the volume more than usual to be able to hear the content. Now, connections. What do we have to introduce content to this device, to this WANBO 10.5 Pro? Well, we have an HDMI, 2 USB ports, and then we have a headphone jack output. For example, if we want to put on some headphones or want to connect to a soundbar, which might make more sense. On the other hand, we have Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz, and we have Bluetooth 5.0. But then what makes more sense to me is that a projector of this type is autonomous. Therefore, we have the Play Store and a whole range of applications from YouTube, Netflix, YouTube Music, Spotify, HBO Prime Video, Disney+. Well, in short, a myriad of applications. In addition to applications, we have others, such as a web browser, Google Photos, or we could go for games like, I think it's called Crossy Road or something like that, which is this little frog that keeps jumping. In short, we have a lot of games that we can also play by connecting a controller, such as a keyboard, a mouse, or a gamepad. Haven't I talked about the controller yet? We have a controller that, by the way, comes without batteries, so be aware of that. Because for me, the truth is that these things always catch me off guard. The device has Google Assistant and shortcuts to YouTube, Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney+. From here, we could also control the device rotation, brightness, input settings where we want to get the content, volume, and so on. A very simple but very complete remote. But the time comes to put it to the test, so let's go. We connect it in the place where I have it projecting in my room and we see what its main features are with this Android 11. As you can see, when we turn on the projector, we have the Google television interface. We are going to have, then, the typical recommendations that it usually makes to us, such as, well, the series that it recommends us to watch. As we scroll down, we see all our applications, including a large number of them, from public televisions like A3 Player, RTV Movistar, which I don't have, and YouTube Music, which I also don't have. Well, as I was telling you, we have, for example, a web browser in which we can search, for example, the news from today, and as you see, it's going to search for us on Google. The news in the country, on RTV in the world, etc. We return to the home page because now we are going to see more things about how it works and how this projector looks. Let's enter Netflix to see the loading times, which are quite good, to be honest. I was surprised by the processor. This projector it works very well and does not get stuck on absolutely anything. As you are seeing, for example, we click on any chapter. I have put the trailer for Money Heist. And I don't know if you're hearing the audio, but the truth is it sounds very good. The journalist returned to me, but I don't recall where we were or where we left off. Then we have a direct button to be able to change in real time, for example, the image. That, for example, we want a much more lively image with more colors, well, we can put it that we want a much softer image too. Similarly, we can change the tom audio completely to our liking. The truth is that it is very easy to change these settings. And well, for example, YouTube, so you can see another example of how well it loads. Let's put the typical video that is always put in 4K, which looks super good. You see that the video loads super fast and with good quality. This video is in 4K, but we're watching it in 1080p. However, the resolution is still excellent, as you can see. I want to see Money Heist on Netflix. Okay, here's Money Heist on Netflix. As you can see, I can ask for things through voice from the remote and it would open up, well, the series that I'm asking for on Netflix. And here we would have it. In addition, thanks to Google Television, we can create multiple profiles that we could switch from here with different Google accounts and thus have completely personalized content. Of course, we can use it as a wallpaper, although perhaps we should not spend the lens too much on this. But not everything was going to be perfect. This device does have some drawbacks. The truth is that the image looks super good, but I do get the feeling that sometimes the focus is not perfect. And it has some drift and generates a small shadow on the letters. There have been times when I had to adjust it a little bit more manually, or you can simply set it if you are going to leave it fixed. So it doesn't auto-adjust every time the device is turned on, but the lens stays preset. But beyond that, it's a very worthwhile product that offers many possibilities. And for 280 euros, it's one of the best recommendations I can give you. Every day these devices have more competition. But I'm very happy to be able to show you on the channel and give you my opinion. I'm very particular about image colors, resolutions, and other details. So I think this one, for the price it costs, is very worth it. So it's true that if you're looking for something superior, you can also take a look at WANBO's website to find other models, which are a bit more expensive and may offer you perhaps superior features. However, the description contains all the information about this WANBO 10.5 Pro. In the comments, I would like you to leave me if you would install a projector in your living room or if you prefer to continue using a television. I want to know what you think, and having said that, leave a like if you liked the video and see you in the next one. Goodbye.